In problem number 1, we're going to find the values of a, b, and the y-intercept. We're going to classify it and complete a table of values. So I have this equation. I'm going to rewrite it with my coefficient of a, which is 1 since it's not shown. So the value of a is 1. The value of b is 4. So because value of b is more than 1, I have a growth here. And then I'm going to plug 3 points in. I'm going to plug in -1, 0, and 1. When I pick -1 for x, that makes it 4 to the -1st, which changes the location, so I have 1/4. So my first ordered pair, I have -1, 1/4, which is right here on the graph. My next point, I'm going to pick 0. 4 to 0 is 1. So I have 0, 1. That is the y-intercept. So 0, 1 right there in the graph. And then I'm going to pick one more point. 1, 4 to the 1st is 4. So I get 1, 4, and then I sketch my graph. In problem number 2, I'm going to rewrite this equation. Put in my value of a, which is 1 since it's not shown. So the value of a is 1. My value of b is 2, which makes it a growth because it's more than 1. And then I'm going to put -1 in. So 2 to the -1st is half. So that's my first ordered pair. So I get -1, half right there in the graph. My next point, I put in 0. Anything to 0 power is 1, so that is my y-intercept. So I have 0, 1 right here. My last point, I'm going to put in 2. So I'm going to put in 1, so I get 2 to the 1st is 2, so that's my last point. And you could see it's a growth. In problem number 3, I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to put in my value of a, which is 1. So a is 1. My value of b is 1/4, so that is going to be a decay. So I'm going to plug in my values. My first value I'm going to put in is -1. That flips this upside down, so I get 4. So I'm going to put -1, I get 4, so that's my first ordered pair. I am going to put in 0. Anything 0 power is 1. That is my y-intercept. So 0, 1 right there in the graph. And then the last point I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in 1. 1/4 to the first power is 1/4, so I get 1, 1/4, and you can see this is a decay. In problem number 4, I'm going to rewrite this as y equals 1 times 1/3 to the x power. Then you could see a equals 1. My b is 1/3. That's between 0 and 1. That means this must be a decay. So I'm going to plug some points in. I'm going to plug in -1. That's going to flip it upside down. So -1, I get 3 right here in the graph. I am going to plug in 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So 0, 1 right here. And that is my y-intercept. Then I'm going to plug in 1. So I get 1/3. So I get 1, 1/3. So right there is my graph. You could see it's a decay. In problem 5, I'm going to rewrite this as an exponential function. I have log base 16. 16 is my base. 2 the second power is 256. And this is a true statement, so you know this is correct. In problem number 6, I have log base 4. 4 is my base. 2 the second power is 16. 4 squared is 16, so that's correct. Log base 6, my base is 6. To the 0 power is 1. Anything to 0 power is 1, so that's correct. Log base 9, so my base is 9. To the second power is 81, so 9 squared is 81 is correct. In problem number 9, we're going to take an exponential equation and rewrite it as a log. So my base is 225. So I have log base 225. Remember, the purpose of the log is to get rid of the exponent. So I have log base 225 of 15 is negative 1/2. And that makes sense because if I take 225 to negative half power, I'm going to get a fraction, which is 1 over 15. In problem number 10, my base is 8. So I have log base 8 of 1 over 64 equals negative 2. So if I go check that, 8 to the second is 64. The negative makes it a fraction. So that is correct. Number 11, my base is 9. So I'm going to have log base 9 of 81 equals 2. And this is correct because 9 squared is 81. In problem number 12, my base is 4. So I have log base 64 equals 3. Go back, check. 4 to the third power, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So that's correct. So in problem number 13, we're going to evaluate. I am going to make it equal to x. So I am going to go log base 4, so 4 to the x power, 4 to the x power equals 64. And I notice I can factor 64 into 4 times 16. I'm using 4 because my base is 4. So I'm going to factor 16, 4 and 4. So now I have 4 to the third power. I have the same base, so x equals